This is Retirement Roadmap Radio with Mark Fricks from Master Plan Retirement Consultants. Listen in as we address your financial concerns and provide helpful solutions to put you on the path to achieving your retirement goals. And now, here is Retirement Roadmap Radio with your host, Mark Fricks.
Hello again and welcome everyone to another episode of Retirement Roadmap Radio with me, your host, Mark Fricks of Master Plan Retirement Consultants, and our co-host today, Mr. Tony Shore. We're glad to be with you today. It's a beautiful day here in the Southeast, enjoying the weather after the storms came through, and enjoying life and work and all that kind of good stuff. And we got a great show for you today. We've got a show that is going to be, I think, a little bit illuminating. I like to do illuminating shows. Don't you agree, Tony? Illumination is good.
I think it's a bright idea that you've had to make the show more illuminating, Mark.
See how I set you up that way?
I love that. I really do. But seriously, I think that's great. Now, you know, the name of the show, I don't know if we've talked about this before, but it's Retirement Roadmap Radio. Right. I think we should change it to Retirement Rock Radio with Mark Fricks in the morning.
You think so?
What do you think?
Let's have a meeting about that. Let's put together a committee.
Yeah, put together a committee. Well,
do a little research.
Well, yeah, but you know, your comment about the show being illuminating, I like that. As long as we're not talking about the Illuminati, but illuminating. You know, I don't want to get into the Getty.
Illuminati is next week.
That's next week. We're going to talk about the Gettys, the Rothschilds, Colonel Sanders. Anyway.
Oh, was he one? I didn't know that.
He puts a secret chemical in his chicken that makes you crave it fortnightly. Anyway.
What about Ronald McDonald? Okay, so anyway.
Yes.
So today's show, Tony, as you remember from our 3-hour prep meeting, the 3 stages of retirement. And so, you know, I think it's really cool because, you know, people, they think about retirement being this 30-year journey, right? You know, we get this 30-year plan, which, you know, we are big on having a retirement roadmap that takes us to and through retirement, as we talk about a good bit. But it's actually 3 different stages. So you have to plan for that. It's not a linear level field. It changes. So we're going to talk about that a little bit today, and hopefully folks will see the difference. And Tony, I guess it's interesting. I've gotten to where when I meet with a new prospect, I may have mentioned this before. After 200 shows, I'm sure I've mentioned many things more than once. But a lot of folks will say, I wish I'd found you earlier. I didn't know you existed. And what they're talking about is the difference that we are from just an investment advisor or a broker or a financial planner or whatever. We are retirement planners or retirement consultants. And so we specialize in that age 50-ish up, which is much more complicated, many more layers, and we've talked about all those layers, from income planning, Social Security planning, pension maximization, estate planning, tax planning. I could go on, right? And so I think this is another layer that people need to be looking at. Is this the 3 stages of retirement? So we're going to dig into that a little bit, and let's explain what it is and maybe what you need to be doing differently to plan for those 3 stages.
Well, okay, so that's really good. I think this is a good discussion to have, and talking about those 3 stages, Mark, it sounds important, and I think this is it illustrates why you shouldn't go this alone when it comes to financial planning and retirement income planning. You really need to work with somebody like yourself. And so I think you've picked a great topic today. A lot of people, I know you get a lot of questions about this, and I've talked to people who have questions about this, and I say, well, I'll ask Mark Fricks. If you understand these different stages of retirement, it's really going to help you plan better, isn't it?
Absolutely, and we incorporate this into our planning, and because we are lifelong planners, and what I mean by that is people come and hire us or join our firm to work with them, And it really is. I mean, I've got clients who've been with us for years, 12, 15, 18 years, because we're taking them down that road. We're their Sherpa. We're taking them, up the mountain, but more importantly, down the mountain. And we know the trails, and the trails change. The weather changes. Different things occur. Maybe there's suddenly a glacier, slips and slides, or an avalanche. I mean, there's all these dangers that can happen. And so it's not where we say, okay, here's your roadmap, good luck,
Right.
So it is a hand holding. And so we hand hold them through these stages. And I've got some of my older clients that are entering stage 2. And our firm's been in business almost 12 years now, so not too many of them are stage 3. I've got a few that are in stage 3, but a lot of my younger clients, their parents are in stage 3, and they're asking me for help. So we're going to get into these 3 stages, whether it helps you, whether it helps your parents, or whatever. But I think it can help all of you. So
Right.
hopefully it'll be a good show. So
Yeah.
in fact, I know it's going to be a good show.
Well, of course it is. I mean, it's always a good show. We always have fun, and I always manage to learn something. You usually bring some really educational information and tips and strategies for our listeners out there. So let's dig into this. Let's start talking about the 3 stages of retirement and what we need to know about them and why they're important.
Okay. Yeah. Great. So again, it is important to understand the 3 stages. So let's go ahead and talk about the first one.
Yep.
Well, I call it the active retirement stage. And so this is the beginning of your retirement, whether it's 60, 62, 65, whatever age you really launch into retirement. And so this is when you are the most active in retirement, of course, and it usually goes to mid-70s or so. And so what's important about this particular segment or stage of retirement? Well, first of all, it's you're probably going to spend more money than you planned these first few years, because you want to do your bucket list, right? You want to travel while you're young and healthy and can get around, and you want to see these exotic locations. You want to probably get your house fixed up for for the coming years. You want to many people at retirement maybe move to the beach. That's more expensive, or move closer to their grandkids or something like that. But it is the most active time. Maybe you're playing more golf. Maybe you're volunteering a lot. So there's a lot going on. You're not sitting in the house watching TV. This is the time to do the things you've always wanted to do. And maybe even at this point you're doing some of these items such as going back to school. I've got several clients that are going back to school, taking advantage of, I know at least here in Georgia, the universities, you can, if you're over a certain age, you can take classes for no cost. No credits, but you can, so if you want to take a cooking class, culinary arts or whatever, maybe you want to write a book, maybe you want to start that little business that's kind of a hobby. So this is an active time. And so what's important to know during this stage is that you need to have a bucket of money growing, because in addition to that everyday income, which is always important, you're going to want to dip into something to be able to go to Europe, to be able to start that business or whatever. So that's why, as we've talked about so many times, Tony, is that we segment our money based on the job of that money. And so this part of our money, we call it red money or risk money, is money that needs to be growing in the market. And it may be 3 different buckets. One bucket is things we want to do this year, so it's kind of conservative. Another one's maybe what we want to do in the next 5 years. The third one's 10 years, so it could be more aggressive. So it's not just this one bucket sitting there, but it is about, we need some money growing because we are going to be spending more doing stuff, being active, and enjoying those years of freedom that we've been looking forward to for so long.
Well, yeah, you work hard your entire life, Mark, and the thing is you work so hard for retirement, you really want to make it count, and you want to make sure you're able to live comfortably in retirement and do the things you want to do. And I think that's what you're getting at here, right?
Oh yeah, absolutely. It's kind of the dream part of retirement. It's that, hey, the exciting part. I had one couple that retired, and the first day of retirement, they woke up on the beach. Now, they didn't sleep on the beach. They were in a hotel, but you get the idea. So they wanted to see the sunrise on the beach on their first day of retirement. I just thought that was kind of cool. But again, they were, active and doing stuff. And so, yeah, we've got to have that money to do that, to be able to do all those things on our bucket list.
Yeah, that's true. And yeah, some people, they want to spend 2 weeks in Paris every year. Well, that's going to be, you're going to need a plan in place to make sure you can cover that. Or some people, they want to travel a lot, or, get an RV and travel across the country a couple of times a year. So all these things, it's just time and money, right, Mark? I mean.
Oh, sure, yeah. But but if you're not planning for it, and you're looking at this, your income, and you're going, wow, we just don't have the money to do the things we want to do. Let's start saving. Well, it's kind of late in the game for that. By the time you save up enough money to do that, you're into the second stage of retirement. So.
Yeah, I think that's great. Now, Mark, let's take a moment. Let's take a quick break here to let our listeners know how they can get a hold of you.
I love to talk about the website. I think that's a great way to read about us, to find out about us. It's a very well-designed website. A lot of information. It shows our workshops that you can take, complimentary. There's a button right on the first page. You press that button and My Calendar pops up. So you look for an opening and you can schedule a 30-minute chat about your situation, complimentary again. And so that's where I like to drive people to, if at all possible. It's masterplanretire.com. Pretty easy to remember, masterplanretire.com. Or you can type in my name, Mark Fricks, as well, Fricks. But Master Plan Retire is a great way to do it. If you prefer a phone call, 770-980-9262. But this is all about being able to just schedule 30 minutes to find out about you and your situation, what your concerns are. What are you worried about in retirement? And everybody has a worry. I mean, people will tell me, I'm good, but deep inside there's, this little something saying, hey, have you done all you could do? Have you saved enough money? Have you, all this kind of stuff.
Right.
So those are two great ways. And then a third way that I don't talk about as much, but if you've got your cell phone with you, just go to your text and text in the word, what is the word? I think it's master plan. Yes, it is.
It is master plan.
Yeah, type in the word master plan and send it to 21,000. That's the phone number, 21,000. And within 10 seconds, a contact page will pop up, and it gives you our web page. You push a button, it gives you our phone number, it gives you our email, it gives you our YouTube. All of this stuff's right there at your fingertips that you can access. So master plan is the word to the number 21,000 is another great way.
Awesome. Well, that's great, Mark. And let's keep going with the show. It's been a good one so far. And listeners, this is Master Plan Retirement you're talking about. So Master Plan makes sense. Text Master Plan. But we're talking about the 3 stages of retirement. What's the next stage you want to discuss?
So the next one I call the slow down retirement stage, and this is mid 70s to early to mid 80s.
The Slogo Years.
We're still relatively healthy on average. Again, this is all about averages.
Yep.
But we've done the Europe thing, we've done the Puerto Rico thing or Costa Rica. We've visited the Hawaiian Islands. We've done a lot of this stuff, and we're just kind of settling into these basic routines. You get up in the morning, you go for an hour walk, you call the grandkids at lunch, this type of thing. You go to the cafe, for dinner, where you get a meat and 2 vegetables for $5, and or whatever. Sure. So maybe you downsize at this point to save money. Maybe this is not so much a downsizing to move to a beach house or whatever, but maybe it's more about less house, one level. Maybe closer again to grandkids. We're tired of traveling. Our kids and our grandkids have settled down finally. They're not moving every 3 years somewhere different. So let's go where they're at so we can be down the road from them. And so there's less activity. There's less energy, perhaps. It's more about staying healthy. It's about just kind of being comfortable and kind of enjoying time. So there is less money needed here. Typically, it's more about that income. And so we can kind of, that money we were growing earlier, we can continue to grow it, but maybe more conservative because we're not using it up as fast. And so it's just kind of this middle stage of settling in. It's just not as much. Maybe we're still playing golf, but instead of 3 days a week, it's one day a week. Or even if you are playing 3 days a week, maybe you're only playing 9 holes and you're walking slower. I mean, whatever. But it's just, I see this, and this is
Sure.
this. I'm not making this stuff up. We see this with our clients, and they just don't get out as much, and it's just a slower pace, an easier pace, and unfortunately, it's also sometimes when one or the other of a couple, maybe their health is deteriorating, so the other one's having to take care of them more at home. So that keeps them at home more as well. But it is that stage where it's just kind of the bucket list is done, and let's just kind of enjoy the next few years and enjoy each other, and enjoy our grandkids and our family and things of that nature.
Yeah. So those are the Slogo years, and so we have to plan for those differently, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
So I like this. The 3 stages of retirement. You have your go years, and now we've talked about the Slogo years, and I can see where financially maybe you don't need quite as much as you head into the Slogo years.
Right.
At least for traveling, things like that, you're going to see those expenses decrease. You're not going to be buying as much frivolous stuff.
Right.
Healthcare is always going to be a concern, but you're right. I mean, the Slogo years, I can see where that would change your expenses, and your budget would definitely change. So your retirement income plans would have to adjust for that. And I assume that's something you do with your clients. You take that into account?
Yeah. Our clients we meet with typically once or twice a year formally. We talk during the year, but formally. And that's when, I'll usually ask, how's your income? What's going on? Is it still good? Do you need more or less? Maybe we had a big year of inflation, so we need a little bit more income. Or maybe, like we said, I love the names you're giving these, by the way. Much better than my names, by the way, Tony. The go, the Slogo, and I'm sure the last one's going to be the NoGo, right?
Yep, the NoGo years. Yep.
Yeah. I was going to call it the inactive retirement stage, but I like your name much better.
Inactive retirement stage. Let's go with NoGo.
I like that.
Yeah,
I like that.
Let's keep it simple. For me, you've got to keep it simple. So, go. The first stage of your retirement. You talked about that earlier. We're going. We're traveling. We're doing things. We're taking the grandkids to Disney. Those are the go years, and we're spending a lot of money in our go years. The Slogo years, that slows down. And so, what is this next stage? So it's NoGo.
Yeah, that's what we're going to use. NoGo. We're going to use the NoGo years.
Yeah.
So this is where you don't really want to go anywhere, but your budget probably changes because of health issues. A lot of folks, they think, oh, I got Medicare, Part A, Part B, I got a supplement, I'm good. But there's a lot of deductibles and co-payments, things that aren't covered. I recently went to the eye doctor, and they want to do some laser surgery on me, and it's like a third of it's covered, and so the other 4,000's out of pocket.
Oh.
I'm like, $4,000. I mean, gee
Wow.
whiz. And I'm still not even in the go years, right? I'm still working,
Yeah.
but I'm in the go work years,
Yeah.
right? But it is, and you start seeing family, like kids being more involved in your life to help out. Maybe they have to come by and check on you because this is your age, like 80 to 90. My parents are here. My parents are in their upper 80s. Thankfully, we're blessed that they're both still healthy. But, they just, they go to church. My dad likes to go to Walmart a couple of times a week or Home Depot, and they go to doctor visits. That's kind of, and unfortunately they go to funerals, right? That's kind of the other thing.
Yeah, the main expense is going to be health care in your NoGo years. Otherwise, the expenses are going to drop way off.
Exactly. They're cutting off lights every time they leave a room, right? That's always a big thing. Turning the heat down or the air up or whatever. But yeah, they it's not, and we go up to see them. They're 2 hours away. So I don't like them driving down to see me. I worry about my dad's driving as he's 89. Again, he's still sharp and a good driver, but so we go up and see them, and we go, mom, she gets sick, we go up and see the, so it's about they're not getting out as much. They're, if it's bad weather, they don't get out, right? If it's too cold, they don't get out. And so, and again, their healthcare expenses are beginning to rise. And, as most people may or may not know, there's things like most dental and most vision's not covered by Medicare. That's a lot. You have a crown done, that's $2,000. That's not covered by Medicare, or anything like that. So you've got other things going on, and then you start looking at things like assisted living or bringing in a sitter. You get into your 90s and don't really need to be, maybe a parent's passed away and there's one parent left, or even if they're both there, somebody needs to go by and check on them, and the kids work, so they hire somebody to go by there 3 times a week or every day, and so that mounts up in cost. And then finally the assisted living, or maybe even just the senior apartment where they check on you. I mean, that's expensive. And,
yeah, it is.
And so now we're ramping up on the income level, and so that money that we were growing over the Slogo years, now we're going to have to tap into for the NoGo years, because even though we're not going, we certainly see expenses ramp up because of health care.
Right, yeah. So you have to plan for that, and I know you have different strategies to prepare for or help prepare for things like long-term care or assisted living. Right. As you said, that can be very expensive. So that's interesting, and I think it's important that we take all of these things into account, especially for our no-go years. So we've talked about the go-go, the slow-go, and the no-go years, and I think that's a perfect way. Some people might see it as oversimplified, and different people will spend a different amount of time in each of those. Everybody's situation is different, but you definitely see that. And I'm sure you've seen those 3 stages all the time with your clients, haven't you?
Right, and we watch them transition, and and it's amazing. Sometimes we'll have I'll meet with a client, and maybe it's a face-to-face meeting, finally, and then we go a year and a half because of COVID, and maybe just meet by Zoom or by telephone, and then they come in the office, and I look at them, I go, wow. They're walking a little more stooped. They're talking a little slower. They're a little more, just. I can't think of the word. A little more intentional about what they're doing. Sure. And being careful. It's just, and sometimes you'll just see an aging process. And I saw a client the other day I hadn't seen in about 2 years. They live a little bit further away, and he got married, and then this happened, and come to find out he got COVID, and he's still suffering the effects. And when he walked in, I mean, he was hunched over, whereas before he was all straight and healthy, but it had caused him to have to go off of his arthritis medicine, and so he was hurting, and just the transition. And hopefully he'll recover and he'll get back to where he was, but he may not. And so that transition for him is occurring a little bit quicker because of some health issues that were already underlying and now exposed because of COVID. And so, again, we don't know when, and we don't know how quickly and how long these stages last, but our plans are flexible so that they can shift into that next stage, when we need to. And if we shift back out of it, we can do that too. And so that's why they're flexible. That's why we meet. That's why we talk, and to make sure we stay adjusted. Not to even mention the fact that in the outside world, we have laws changing, we have taxes changing, all of those things that have to be adjusted as well. So it's a complex situation that we have to stay on top of, and we do that. We have a great staff. We have, of course, myself as the lead advisor, Evan as an advisor. We're bringing on a third one here shortly. We're kind of a family-based company. We have 3 or 4. We have 4 family members here working here now, next generation as well. And so we're planning for the future. People say, well, Mark, what about when you leave or when you die or whatever? I say, well, what do you know that I don't know? No, I don't say that. But I say, we've got that plan in place. We're going to continue this philosophy and this caring atmosphere of who you're talking to when you call us. You know who works here. You know the people. And you know how to get help, and we know how to help you. So it's really a neat situation.
Yeah, That's great. Well, you know what? We're out of time for today's show. It just flew by, but we covered the 3 stages of retirement. And Mark, great show. Why don't you let our listeners know one more time how they can get a hold of you?
Yeah, real quickly, because I know we're running short of time, but Master Plan Retire is a great website, masterplanretire.com. You can schedule appointments, find out more about us, links to our YouTube channel. Go there, subscribe. We're putting a new YouTube up every week. We're building a studio here in-house to be able to do those professionally. They're all about education. We're all about educating. Look at the workshops on the website. Or if you want to give us a call, 770-980-9262, and we offer the complimentary first meeting, initial consultation, whether it be a 15-minute chat or a 45-minute Zoom call. It's up to you, but we're here to at least give you some guidance and find out where the problems are.
All right. Thanks, Mark. And listeners, that does it for today's episode of Retirement Roadmap Radio with our host, Mark Fricks.
And thanks for joining us. We love having you and hope to see you again same time, same place next week. In the meantime, remember, as always, plan well and prosper. Have a good day, everybody.